Shortcomings, people, is the feature directorial debut from Randall Park. It is written by Adrian Tomine, who adapted his own comic book series of the same name. So Park also produces the film along with Jennifer Berman, Leah Berman, um, Howard Cohen, Eric Diablo, Michael Galamako, Margaret Hand, Hoi Ho. It's executive produced by Maria Zuckerman, Max Silver, Neil Shah, Jennifer Semler, Ryan Payne. We got Ryan Heller, Tim Headington, Daniel Hank, and Michael Bloom. It is co-produced by Anna Lecker, associate produced by Madeline Little, also with some production help from Dylan Pukla. Right, Gene Back handles the music. Santiago Gonzalez, cinematography. Sorry, people. Robert Nusu edits the piece. Nicole Abelera and Rory Bergman are on casting duties. Bill Boos, production design. Sally Sanghi Ba, art direction. Set decoration is from Walter Perez, with Ava Yuriko Hammer handling costume design. So we got hair and makeup from Leo One, Jennifer Tremont, Madison McLean, Joshua First, and Jacqueline Bensad. And our cast, people. Well, we have got Justin H. Min as Ben. His longtime partner Miko is played by Ali Maki. So Ben's best friend Alice is played by Cherry Cola. There's also Autumn, played by Tavi Jevenson. There's Sasha, played by Debbie Ryan. Meredith, played by Sonoya Mizuni. Leon, played by Timothy Simmons. Some co-workers of Ben. There's Jean, played by Jacob Batalon. Lamont, played by Scott Size. Jason, played by Theo Aya. We got Nina, played by Nika Hishanani. Mrs. Lee, Alice's mum, played by Bora Ah. Her dad, Mr. Lee, played by David Newey. We got Roman, played by Mike Caballon. Zoya, played by Sheldon Best. Tam, played by Amy Pham. Martin, played by George Dayla Jr. Max, played by Melanie J. Newby. Right? Esther, played by Jess Nahahan. Jeffrey, played by Adam Enright. Mr. Wong, played by Ronnie Chang. Mrs. Wong, played by Stephanie Hizu. Danny, played by Daniel Hank. Jahon, a restaurateur friend of Alice, is played by Randall Park. All right, so yeah, they are probably the main people, right? So the gist of the story is this: Ben, a struggling filmmaker, lives in Berkeley, California, with his girlfriend Miko, who works for a local Asian American film festival. When he's not managing an art house movie theatre as his day job, Ben spends his time obsessing over unavailable blonde women, watching Criterion Collection DVDs, and eating in diners with his best friend Alice, a queer grad student with a serial dating habit. When Miko moves to New York for an internship, Ben is left to his own devices and begins to explore what he thinks he might want. So I saw this film, right, advertised when we have to go through the schedule, kind of plan what we will be trying to see to bring to you people. Right. So I saw this, but there was clashes and I didn't think I was going to get to see it. I don't know what happened, but shit opened up. So I got to see this and I'm very glad I did. I'm very glad I did, people. Right. So it opens up. Like we're in a hotel. We get this woman asked for a penthouse and she's denied, right? There's discrimination. She goes over to her husband and this whole thing plays out, right? And you're just like, what is this? Turns out it's a film, right? We've just seen the end of a film. As our characters, Ben and Miko, are in the cinema, and everyone's like, incredible, incredible. Ben, right, as from the description, he's very much into his art house. He's indie, right? Non-commercial fare. And he hates this film, right? And so he's critiquing it, but right, it is part of the festival that Miko is helping curate. So, he's being a bit of a dick, and the people that Miko is working with. Right? But from that, you get this actually an interesting conversation. It's a conversation I have had many a time, right? And I think it sets the tone for the film because, she's like, look, yes, the film is cheesy, it's stereotypical, but, right, we don't get these stories with Asian characters. So, it might not be the best, but it seems like it's going to be popular. Everyone seems to like it, and this could then open the doors to all different types of stories that other people might want to make, right? And that's the thing. It's just like, when you think about those things, right, do you want great story, right, a great story with representation, or are you happy for something that isn't the best, but it's got representation up the kaizu? You know what I mean? And because it's so popular, you're hoping it will open those doors. Right? So back in the day, there was stuff like Moesha, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Sister Sister. None were great, right? But there wasn't many things with black people on TV, so you watched them, right? But I never thought they were great, right? You can't hold them up and be like, yes, this was it. Or, there's no going back to it. Be like, I really want to watch old episodes. No. But yeah, did they open the door? I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Because it was years before anything of substance actually came around. But I think it's an interesting conversation, and that's what they have, right? And yeah, that really just opens the doors, but it also lets you see how this relationship is going, right? Because, as I said, look, Miko, she's working for this festival, and Ben, he could keep his views to himself until they're at least behind closed doors, right? They're at home. But he's voicing his dislike all up in the shop, you know what I mean? He doesn't care. When he talks to like the filmmakers, he's just like, nah, didn't like it. It's rubbish. And it's all well and good having your views and stuff, but you should be respectful of where your partner is working, because that's gonna potentially sour relationships for them, put them in awkward situations, right? So if you don't have respect for that, do you have respect for them? And we get definitely a good view, kind of interesting points of view with this. You know what I mean? Like there is a conversation around, let's say, porn, right? And who you're watching, right? Because we have an Asian couple, but if you're watching someone who is nothing like the person you're dating, is that disrespectful? What is that saying? Are you saying that you technically want someone different? Or are you being respectful because you're not trying to look for someone that looks like them? You know what I mean? Like, there's this. Then, like, the film also throws up these things around dating dynamics, right? So there's an argument around, dating, in this case, white women, blonde white women. But, right, is it any different for an Asian woman to date a white man? You know what I mean? Like these, one is thrown out as fetishism, one isn't. Right. So we have those conversations, right? The comments that are made from a straight person to how it's made by a gay person, or on the flip, something a man might say to something a woman might say, or just the age dynamics in a relationship. And at one point it said it's fine when it's a woman because there's not the power dynamic, right? Like one can't overpower the other type of thing. So you might not agree with all of these things, but they are interesting, right? They were interesting. And you don't always get these, topics thrown up in this sort of film, right? It's about relationships. Now, it's not completely straight and realistic like a before sunrise, before sunset, before midnight, right? Not like a In Search of a Midnight Kiss or something like that. So there is definitely humor thrown in, and trust me, people, myself and the rest of the screen laughed a lot watching this film. But where in places it might be a little over the top, not in a bad way, right? It still deals with topics and scenarios that I think every single person can relate to. They may have found themselves in, they may have consoled a friend in a similar situation, right? Those hypocrisies, those imbalances, you know what I mean? The whole, okay, if we're on a break, what does that mean? Right? How someone might get indignant when someone else is doing something, but technically they were doing exactly the same thing, you know? So all of those things get played out, right? And how you act when a friend is doing a certain thing, right? Or it seems like they are trying to turn over a new leaf, right? It's the way we show happiness for someone, the way we support someone. And all of these things are thrown up by this film, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed Shortcomings. And we get, it's a great cast, right? It's a great cast, and you buy everything, because in this film, Ben is a bit of a sadist. A sadist or a narcissist? I mean, he's a bit of an asshole, right? But it seems that he's sabotaging himself a lot, right? And just not really trying to be happy or support other people's happiness. But you can see that he might want to, and Justin H. Min does a fantastic job in that role, right? Really sells it. Sherry Cola as Alice, again, the best friend, and she's an arsehole as well, but she's trying to change, right? Ali Maki as Miko. Now, as I said, there's a lot of hypocrisy in there, right? And you do feel for Miko. There are times when, that thing when you do something wrong and then you try and pass it off like you are actually the wronged party. So all of that is there. And even when someone is technically the wrong party, they were still an arsehole in the situation. So it is, it's interesting. We get great. I mean, we got Timothy Simons as Leon. I mean, that whole thing was friggin' hilarious. It was hilarious. And he's not in it a lot, but he does a great job. Right? We get a little Spider-Man comment from Jacob Batalon when he's talking to Scott Sazy Lamont, which is amusing. But yeah, this was very enjoyable, people. Very enjoyable. So if you weren't able to see it today, it was playing at the Prince Charles, don't worry, because it is showing also tomorrow, Saturday the 7th at 11:45. So hopefully you didn't drink too much last night and you'll be ready to go early in the morning. Early-ish. I mean, I don't think it's early, but I know a lot of people for a Saturday will be like 11:45 a.m. What? But it will be playing at the Curzon Soho, right? And then it is a little bit later, Sunday the 8th at 3:40 at the View Leicester Square, View West End. So yes, there is other times to be able to catch Shortcomings, people. I believe it's out in this. Well, it has already been out in the States. I don't have a release date for the UK, unfortunately, but if anything comes up, I'll throw it on the website. But yeah, definitely worth seeing, people. If you like smart comedies that deal with relationships and all those different kind of matters, I will say Shortcomings is for you. So yeah, check it out and you'll have a